What's up, everybody? Renat here, and you're on the MMA Fight channel. This is your recap of the latest UFC Fight Night from the Apex, where the main event featured Gabriel Bonfim taking on Randy Brown. In the co-main, we had Matt Schnell versus Joseph Morales, and a whole lot more. Let's get into it. Zachary Reese versus Jackson McVeigh. Zachary Reese's last fight was ruled a no contest after an illegal groin strike on Cedric Dumas. His opponent tonight, Jackson McVeigh, took his debut on short notice against Bruno Ferreira and suffered a first-round loss. He was originally scheduled to fight Robert Valentine, but Robert pulled out with an injury. Round 1. The fighters immediately clinched up and spent almost the entire round there, trading shots like it was a hockey fight. The second 5 minutes, Zachary immediately went for the takedown, realizing he had the upper hand in grappling at the end of the last round. He quickly took the back and just as quickly locked in a choke, forcing McVeigh to tap. Zachary Reese gets the submission victory. Miles Jones versus Daniel Marcos. Miles Jones has lost his last 2 fights by decision. Tonight, he's up against Daniel Marcos. The Peruvian fighter suffered the first loss of his career in his last bout. This fight was definitely less exciting than the previous one, right up until the finish in the second round. Marcos got on his back and locked in a choke. Miles Jones refused to tap and was choked unconscious. Daniel Marcos gets the win in the second round. Tisha Pennington versus Denise Gomez. Tisha Pennington is a true UFC veteran and has won her last 2 fights. Her opponent, Denise Gomez from Brazil, is currently on a 3-fight winning streak. The ladies went the full 3 rounds, and every single one was scored for Denise, who won the fight by a unanimous 30-27 decision. Denise Gomez is your winner. Josh Hokett versus Max Jimenez. Josh Hokett has only 6 professional fights. He earned his UFC spot with a knockout on the Contender Series this year. Before that, the American fought in Bellator and LFA, where he also finished all his fights. It's also a debut fight for his opponent tonight. Max Jimenez fought in the Shogun Fights promotion, where he finished most of his fights, but also has some losses. Both are making their debuts tonight. And what do we see? Hokett steamrolled his opponent in the first minute with a barrage of punches. Jimenez was knocked unconscious and crashed to the canvas. Hokett gets the knockout in just 56 seconds. What a debut! Wow! Mayra Bueno Silva versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Mayra Bueno Silva is a force on the ground and fought for the vacant title, but lost to Raquel Pennington. Tonight, the former title challenger meets Jacqueline Cavalcanti, who is on a 7-fight winning streak, with 4 of those 7 fights in the UFC. And these ladies also spent all 15 minutes in the octagon. Mayra couldn't get her grappling going against Jacqueline, and outstriking Cavalcanti is no easy task. For all 3 rounds, Jacqueline Cavalcanti successfully kept the fight standing and outstruck her opponent, taking the win by unanimous decision, 30-27, 30-27, and 29-28. Jacqueline Cavalcanti is your winner. Ricky Simon versus Raoni Barcelos. Ricky Simon is coming in on a 2-fight winning streak. He scored a knockout against Javid Basharat and then beat Mario Bautista. His opponent is Raoni Barcelos, who at 38 years old has found his stride and is on a 3-fight winning streak. Ricky Simon started the first round strong. He was fast and dangerous, pressuring with strikes, and the Brazilian started to fade. 1-0 for Ricky. The second and third rounds were a completely different story. Barcelos seized the momentum and looked better in the exchanges. In the end, all 3 judges scored the fight 29-28 for Raoni Barcelos. What a comeback! Jamal Emmers versus Haidar Amil. Jamal Emmers was originally scheduled to fight Austin Lingo, who had to pull out due to injury. Haidar Amil stepped in to replace him. In his last fight, he lost by knockout to Jose Del Rio. As for Jamal, he's been trading wins and losses, with a 4-4 record in the UFC. The first round was competitive, with both fighters threatening on the feet, but the second and third rounds were completely dominated by Emmers. He brought his wrestling into the mix, and the difference in that department was massive. Jamal easily controlled and battered Hamil with strikes. Jamal Emmers wins by unanimous decision. Christian Leroy Duncan versus Marco Tulio. Christian Leroy Duncan is making steady progress in the UFC. He's a tough kickboxer who's great in the clinch. The Brit is currently on a 2-fight winning streak, and his opponent tonight, Marco Tulio, is just as dangerous a prospect. The Brazilian is on a 10-fight winning streak with 7 knockouts, and 2 of those wins are in the UFC. Christian Leroy Duncan started the fight with confidence, managed to open a serious cut on the Brazilian, and took the first round. In the second round, he threw a back fist that rocked Tulio. He miraculously stayed on his feet, but Leroy followed up with a precise right hand and Tulio was knocked out. A magnificent performance. Christian Leroy Duncan wins by knockout in the second round. Chris Padilla versus Ismail Bonfim. Ismail Bonfim missed weight by 2 kilograms, about 4.4 pounds, so the fight was held at a catchweight. Chris Padilla is riding a 6-fight winning streak. His opponent is Ismail Bonfim. The Brazilian has been alternating wins and losses so far. The fight started out well for Ismail. He looked better in the first round, but in the second round, after a solid elbow from Chris, Bonfim went down and Chris finished him off. The result is a victory for Chris Padilla by TKO in the second round. Muslim Salikov versus Uros Medic. Muslim Salikov is 41 years old and is on a 3-fight winning streak. Tonight, his opponent is the knockout artist Uros Medic. Medic has a record of 5-3 in the UFC, and all 5 of his wins have been brutal knockouts. Uros Medic lived up to his reputation as a knockout artist, landing a great shot in the opening minutes and securing a quick finish with ground and pound. Uros Medic wins by knockout in the first round. Co-main event, Matt Schnell versus Joseph Morales. Matt Schnell, he only has 2 wins in his last 6 fights. Schnell has fought almost all the top guys in the division. Tonight, he faces Joseph Morales, who is in his second stint with the UFC. In 2018, he lost 2 fights and left the promotion, then won a season of The Ultimate Fighter to come back. Morales just ran through Schnell, and he did it fast. A takedown, moved to the crucifix, couldn't get anything there, so he switched to a guillotine, and Schnell tapped. A quick and dominant submission victory for Morales in the first round. Main event, Gabriel Bonfim versus Randy Brown. Gabriel Bonfim got into the UFC through the Contender Series in 2022. When he debuted, he was on a 13-fight finishing streak. Bonfim now has 3 straight wins and is ranked 14th in the welterweight division. Randy Brown has been fighting since 2016. This is his 21st fight in the UFC. In his last fight, he scored a brutal knockout victory over Nicholas Dalby. Round 1, Bonfim looked better on the feet. He used his kicks perfectly, throwing high kicks and landing low kicks. In the second round, Gabriel continued to outstrike Brown, and then, as they closed the distance, Bonfim threw a knee to the head, and Brown was knocked out cold. The referee instantly stopped the fight, giving Brown no chance to recover. Gabriel Bonfim wins early in the second round. So what do you guys think? Was it an early stoppage by the ref, or not? Let me know in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new fight recaps and stay up to date on all things UFC. See you soon, everyone. Peace.